Do you know Pawnee from Parks and Rec? Well, we went to the Sweetums Brewery and brought back some beer, and we're gonna try it out in this episode. Ready or not? Fight me, bro. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Our friends from Eureka Heights Brewing Company did something amazing for us. They brought Pawnee to us. And they did that last Halloween in 2020 when it seemed like the world was going to end. They brought light into this world, and during their Halloween special, they dressed up as Sweetums, and they brought back some amazing Sweetums beer that are all themed Parks and Rec. And today, we're gonna be trying all these beers. You know, you can remember if you're a big fan of Parks and Rec, Leslie Knope, the famous character of Parks and Rec. Then you have Tom Haverford, you have Andy, which is also known as Mr. Johnny Karate, and agent from the FBI, Burt Macklin. And who can forget Little Sebastian? Moment of silence for Little Sebastian. Okay, get ready. We're gonna be trying some beer, and we're gonna start with the first one here. So this first one is called Nothing Rhymes with Orange. So in season 1, Andy and his band, Mouserat, they were talking about all these different names that they had gone through to come up with Mouserat. One of them was Nothing Rhymes with Orange. And then they went back and forth, and then Everything Rhymes with Orange, and they did other ones like Penis Pendulum, and let's just say that Mouserat was the better name. But let's go ahead and try this one here from Eureka Heights. It's an orange cream ale. Let's check this one out. Ooh, it has that citrus smell. It reminds me of their signature beer, their Buckle Bunny, with a little bit of citrus. So this beer is actually really, really good. It's very crisp. Around the summer time frame, if you go out mowing the lawn or just, you know, hanging out by the pool, and you want a little bit of like that citrusy, that little tangerine flavor, you get that in this beer. It's very, very crisp and light. It's definitely a summer beer, and I do definitely taste the orange or that citrusy from that cream ale, but honestly, for me, I'm more of an IPA fan, so these lighter beers, I just drink like water. So delicious water, if I may say. All right, let's move on to number 2 here. This one here is called Flush with Cash. So if you remember in season 2, John Ralphio, there was an episode where, you know, his grandfather passes away and leaves him behind quite a bit of money. So him and Tom, they are kind of hanging out, and then he tells Tom about all this scenario, all the money he has now, and then he goes, "Flush with cash." And you know, John Ralphio is John Ralphio. So this is an IPA with cashmere hops. It's a hazy IPA. So I see what you did there, Eureka. Cashmere hops, cashmere sweaters, bling bling, gold everywhere. I see you. Okay, let's try this out and see how good it is and how deserving it is of the title. Typically, hazy IPAs are lower IBUs, which means that they have lower bitterness. We'll see how this one compares because I can smell the hoppy aroma coming straight at me. Ooh, this is interesting because it's hoppy, but buttery? I don't know. It is such a weird combination, but it's a very enjoyable combination. I can see how this hoppiness is a little bit more refined, more, what's the word? Bougie? Maybe bougie. Bougie's the word. Okay. Great beer all around. Love it. Moving on to the next one. This one here is called Snork Juice. So this one's actually a long boiled barley wine. I am not a big barley wine person, but we're gonna try this one out. But before I go into the beer, Snork Juice. So if you guys remember in, I think it was season 3, so you know, John Ralphio, Tom, they're kind of going in this like entrepreneur spirit, and Tom decides to launch his new alcoholic beverage, right? So the snake juice, and he goes out and he rents out a club and he promotes his snake juice quite a bit, and it is great. Like everybody was getting all hyped with snake juice, and but here is how great Eureka Heights is. They didn't name this snake juice. They named it Snork Juice. So why did they name it Snork Juice? So throughout that episode, Leslie starts taking way too much snake juice, which is it was a combination of like caffeine, sugar, and some sort of alcohol, which got people kind of in this weird state, kind of buzzing, but like full of energy. And Leslie is loving it. So she's kind of buzzing really hard. And this is where Ben gets introduced. So spoiler alert for everybody who's hasn't seen Parks and Rec. If you haven't seen it, shame on you. Go watch it now. But if you have seen it, you remember that moment when Leslie and Ben start kind of getting into this weird romantic thing going on. And in that space, like Leslie's all pretty much buzzing and drunk, and she says, hey you, bring back some more of that Snork Juice. And that's why they called it Snork Juice, ladies and gentlemen. Eureka Heights, kudos to you. You went not just a superficial level of Parks and Rec, which is one of my favorite series. You went an extra level, all right? And I appreciate that. All right, let's try this Snork Juice. That smell reminds me of an ESB, and it makes me want to try it. You have this like weird flavor of like an ESB, right? So like a bitter type of beer, but you also have like tanginess. And sours typically go really, really tangy, but it's so weird because you're getting that initial tang, but it's leveled out, smoothed out, and that barley wine it's so well balanced. So it's kind of like a combination of a really, really light like sour and an ESB. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's delicious nonetheless. So throughout the entire series, and this started right around season, I think it was 4 or 5, and definitely after that as well. But if you remember Councilman Jam, in that episode, I think it was in season 5, I believe, he brings out his saying, his like famous saying, "You just got jammed." And that's what this beer is named after. And this one's an interesting one because it's a Milkshake IPA with strawberry, cherry, and raspberry all in there. So it's like a jam flavor jammed into an IPA. And not only that, but like a lactose milkshake IPA. So let's give this a try. Wow, look at that color. That color, look at that. That color is red. It is jammy. It is good. All right, let's go ahead and, wow, it's a berry explosion here. It is good. I mean, this one has a high ABV. This is a 7.1 alcohol by volume, but you don't feel it. It is so tangy because you get a lot of that berry flavor that comes out. And I guess it's maybe the lactose that makes it like a lot smoother from a regular IPA, so you don't get the hops like bam right on your face. You get that tanginess from the berry, and then you get that smoothness from the Milkshake IPA. That is really good. All right, so now we're moving on to the last two here, and these two are my favorite from a story standpoint. So this is in the last season, so season 7. I don't know if you guys remember Ron Swanson. Who doesn't remember Ron Swanson? Ron is Ron, right? He is the guy, and I've mentioned Ron several times in some of the other episodes, especially on my whiskey episodes. If you haven't, check those out. Click on that link right there so you can check out those whiskey episodes. But Ron, he gets out of the U.S. government employee circle, and he goes into private company, and he starts his own company, and his company's called The Very Good Building Company. Such a suiting name for Ron. I mean, simple, to the point. Here you go. We build stuff. We're very good at it. Boom, done. And that's what I'm hoping to get from this beer. So let's try this out. All right, this beer here looks like it's been unfiltered, but other than that, it looks like a regular old beer. So, I mean, the name says it all. It is amazing. The fact that this beer here is just straight up just beer, how much flavor it carries. But it's not like this like, oh, I'm getting like a berry flavor, I'm getting this orange flavor. No, it's just the malt, the hops, the water, and it's in the yeast. Like, it's all there, and it's perfect. It's well balanced. There's nothing special about it. There's nothing going on that makes it different. It's just beer, and it's a very good beer. All right, so lastly, moving on to the last beer here. So this one here is the Distraction Waffle. So this one kind of ties with this last beer here. So very good building company. So when Ron does this in season 7, there happens to be a strain in the relationship between Leslie and Ron. And if you remember anything about Parks and Rec, was that Leslie and Ron were seen as this like father-daughter type of relationship. So in season 7, you know, when they're bringing back that relationship, and that they're kind of getting back into the, like, we're back to being friends. Ron confesses something to Leslie, so that at the beginning of her employment, she would be super excited about passion projects that she would see, and whenever it was just way too much for Ron, he would distract her by taking her to JJ's Diner and giving her some waffles. And throughout the entire series of Parks and Rec, we know that Leslie loves waffles from JJ's Diner. And now Leslie knows why she loves them so much. Because she's so committed to the government, she's so committed to doing such a great job that she's always thinking about these passion projects. She's always thinking about helping out the community, and Ron is there to try to distract her with these waffles. So these waffles have become a part of the entire series, and it is such a great way to end this beer tasting here with this Distraction Waffles, which is a barrel-aged imperial milk stout with maple and vanilla. So wow, I'm dying to try these Distraction Waffles in form of a beer. So let's try this out. I can smell the maple syrup, and it is like, if I close my eyes, let me just close my eyes here. Ooh, I'm at a diner. There's a little bit of coffee, my little creamer. Oh man, here comes the waffles. Ooh, let me drizzle that maple syrup. That's everything I'm smelling. Now, let's try it out. Oh, wow. The explosion of flavor here, it is beyond belief. I don't know what that is in that beginning part of the palate. You get a traditional barrel-aged stout flavor, but the finish is that mapley finish. And it's like you're, eating pancakes or waffles with that maple syrup just drizzled all over. Wow, that is absolutely delicious. And Eureka Heights, not only did you guys make such an incredible experience here with these Sweetums beer, part of the Parks and Rec story, but the titles of each individual beers went in so much depth about Parks and Rec. So whoever did that at Eureka Heights must be a super fan, and I love you for it. This is such an amazing lineup here, and I hope that some of these come back and you bring it out so that others can try, that the ones that did not get to try some of these beers. So thank you, Eureka Heights, and thank you guys for watching and subscribing for this show. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? There's so many good episodes that we have coming up. So why don't you click on that little button, that right there. So no, this side. Click it right there and subscribe. And also make sure you click that little bell next to it. Yeah, right there. The bell right next to it. So you get the notifications on all these great episodes that we have coming up. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you for subscribing. Stay hoppy, my friends.